Hi everybody, Carol Mahoney here, coming off of our live sales lab, talking about grit. And more specifically, what is it that salespeople can learn from entrepreneurs about how to develop their own grit? What is grit, anyway? It's actually a term that was researched extensively by Angela Duckworth, a psychologist. And one of the things that she found is that people who were successful had displayed a certain level of grit. But how did they develop that? How did people like Elon Musk come up with SpaceX and all of the failures to continue through those failures to find success? I'll share some of my own experiences that I've learned as an entrepreneur, and as well as what Angela Duckworth has found. The first thing that I found in developing grit is that you have to have some kind of discipline for deliberate practice. There is actually a structure to that, and that you're doing so to improve on a particular thing. So as salespeople, the next time you get asked who wants to volunteer for a role play, or even doing it in a group setting, the ones that raise their hands are the ones that are going to have the most grit because they're continuously practicing. Another thing that I've learned, both as an entrepreneur and others that I've seen who have grit, is that they all have some kind of a driving purpose. They're doing something for a reason, and not just because of some sort of a superficial thing, but there's a personally meaningful reason behind what they're doing. And their purpose is something that's going to push them through, get their feet on the floor despite the hangups that are going to happen. And I think that's a part of it as well. Expect that there's going to be failures. And I think that's where, when Angela Duckworth was talking about it, where she was talking about hope. If you realize that there are going to be failures, but that those failures are going to be learning opportunity. As Carol Dweck said in her book, Growth Mindset, it's those that are looking at each failure as an opportunity to learn and continue to improve that actually are displaying these kinds of grit. And as salespeople, everything that we're doing is an iteration. Everything is an experiment. And so learning from our experiments to continue to improve and provide value for the people we're trying to help, that's where hope comes in, because you can learn. And I think that's probably the final and last thing when you're talking about grit is, first, making sure you're practicing. 2, having a purpose. 3, having hope. But then finally, you've got to realize you've got to give yourself the time to do it, because nothing happens overnight. And if you go into it with a mindset of, I'm going to learn, yes, I'm going to fail, but there's a bigger reason why I'm doing this, that's what enables you to have grit. And that is something that you can learn and condition yourself for. And as salespeople today, we're going to be required to be more and more entrepreneurial, which means we're going to need to develop this kind of grit to be successful. So join me on next week's Live Sales Lab. We're actually talking about objections and how to handle those objections, and what better place to display some grit than learning how to handle those. So join me next week. The link will be below, and I will see you there.